Western Digital just updated their Blue range of entry-level SSDs to NVMe, and in this video I'm going to be taking a look at the new WD Blue SN500. As well as this 500GB version, it's also available in 250GB and sits below the premium SN750 NVMe drive in Western Digital's lineup. The SN500 gives you 2 lanes of PCI Express 3.0 in an M2 2280 form factor, with advertised sequential read speeds of up to 1700 MB per second and write speeds of 1300 MB per second on the 250GB version or 1450 MB per second on the 500GB version. Average power usage is just 75 milliwatts, and temperatures are also well controlled, with the drive never going over 56 degrees C during benchmarks. Starting with some synthetic benchmarks, Blackmagic Disk Speed Test measured the drive's peak write performance at just over 1300 MB per second, dropping to 880 MB per second after a while. The read performance maintained a steady 1530 MB per second throughout. In AJA System Test, the write speed maxed out at 1340 MB per second before dropping down again to around 880, while the read speed was a sustained 1550 MB per second throughout the test. Looking at the speed over time, you can see that the write speed is at just under 1400 MB per second, right up to the point where about 6 GB of data has been written, when it drops down to around the 800 MB per second mark. So as long as you're not writing more than 6 GB of data at once, which would be most of the time, you're going to be taking advantage of the top speed of the drive. Moving on to some real-world tests, writing an 8GB folder containing over 15,000 small files from RAM onto the SSD took 17.9 seconds, which is about 446 MB per second. Reading the 8GB folder from the SSD into RAM took 12.1 seconds, which is 661 MB per second. Meanwhile, a single 8GB file took 7.9 seconds to write to the drive, or just over 1 GB per second, and 5.1 seconds to read, which is about 1.5 GB per second. With this level of performance, the SN500 clearly isn't competing against higher-end NVMe SSDs like the Samsung 970 Pro or the Evo Plus or WD's own SN750, but that's not the market segment that this drive is aimed at. In this price bracket, the drive is squarely aimed at competing with high-end SATA SSDs, and it absolutely obliterates them in performance. At less than $80 for the 500GB version and under $60 for the 250GB version, the SN500 is only slightly more expensive than SATA SSDs of the same capacity, but offers a massive performance increase, being easily 3 times faster. It's also much faster than Qlc Nvme drives like the Intel 660p for around the same price. What you get for your money then is the best value NVMe SSD on the market right now. This is an excellent drive for the price, and it's only a shame that WD don't yet offer a 1TB version. That's it for this video, thanks for watching.